at the time as an athlete, I didn't know that there was a whole another side of athletics. And so I did that for my 4 years while I was at school, and then sent my resume all over the country and had the fortunate opportunity to go and work at Duke University. And so my wife and I moved out to Durham, North Carolina, was hired as an assistant marketing director there. Was there for 5 years working with a lot of their sports. And then BYU was hiring a director at the time. And so took this opportunity to come back out to Utah. And I've been here for 13 years now. And so I guess a question for you guys is, why are you guys doing what you're doing right now?
I want to have a job like you.
Yeah.
I love sports.
So, what's that?
I love sports.
Love sports. And that's key to this whole thing is love. I like to say love, passion are the two most important things to be successful in this career. You got to have love and you got to have passion for what we're doing. We're in a unique business. I look at it as, you know, our fans, whether they're here, out in Georgia, wherever they are across the country, we are asking our fans to use discretionary income to be a part of what we're doing. And so from our end, we have to make sure that we put on the best show, the best event, the best experience possible, so those fans will continue to come back to our venues. And the thing is, within the marketing side of things, I feel like we have opportunities every day, every week, every home event to have touch points with people that make their experience special and one that they'll remember for the rest of their lives. You know, obviously, I'm sure you guys have seen this where kids will come and they'll engage with an athlete, get a photo with, you know, the mascot or something. And it's like that was the best day they had or the best experience they had. And so that's one thing that I always preach to my staff is we're an experience driven business. And when fans are coming to our events that we're hosting, we need to make sure that they have the best experience possible. Obviously, it's that driveway to driveway experience and everything that touches within in those aspects of them coming and then getting back home. And so the other thing that I look at and what's very important that I preach to my staff is relationships. This business is all about building relationships. It's about building your network and getting to know as many people as you can. What's important to me is building relationships internally within our own athletic department, within our own campus venues or our own campuses that we work internally here on campus, and then obviously in the community. And then people that work within the business to build relationships. It's so important and so vital. You guys are all young right now, and I just met with a few of my students yesterday as some of them are getting ready to graduate, and they're going, Dave, what do I do? What am I going to do? And it's like, well, what do you want to do? You know, what are you passionate about? And so what I keep telling them is you got to build relationships with as many people as you can. And that's kind of key and vital and important. So do you guys, I guess, just kind of talk to me if someone wants to kind of share with me kind of your guys' setup, how you guys are organized at Georgia Southern.
I know what y'all know now. Car, you got it.
What?
Tell them.
Wait.
How are you guys organized out there?
Wait, how we set up?
Yeah, we know how we dance.
Okay. So.
Can you hear?
Yes.
I hate that y'all just put me on the spot like this, but so the way we're set up is that we have our director of marketing, Dan Adams, and then Cameron, and then we're just his student assistants and his interns that just kind of work to help with the game day and marketing experiences and stuff like that.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, do you want me to name every person?
No.
He said assistant. I said his assistants and interns. That's what we do. And we help with the marketing and game day experiences that you have. So pretty much everything that you explained, we're pretty much the staff in that.
Okay. So what's something that you guys have done this year that you're extremely excited about? Or that you're proud of?
Eagle Madness.
Eagle Madness.
Yeah, Eagle Madness.
I wasn't there, so I don't want to explain.
Tell me what that is.
Who's there?
Eagle
It
Madness.
was like a first time thing. We tried to engage students with basketball players and give them an opportunity to, engage with the players.
Okay. And what's your enrollment at your school?
We're about 20,000 or so on the main campus.
20,000?
Yeah.
Yo, that's a lot of people.
That's a shit.
And so, are you guys, when you graduate, are you guys looking to be somehow in collegiate sports,
Yes.
marketing, other?
No.
Yes.
Yes and no.
It's a mix.
Yes and no?
It's a mixture.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping that Cameron and others there are giving you guys the best opportunity to, if you are looking to get into this business, to basically have the best experience you can while you're in college. One thing that we've done here is we try to utilize our students where every year they get different assignments, different experiences, because we want them, at the end of the day, when they're graduating, we want them to be able to have a strong resume. And one thing that we started doing a few years ago is we've said to our students, hey, if you have the means to be able to do this, we want you to go and shadow other universities, like when we have a bye, if our teams are on the road, to go to other schools and just kind of see what they're doing on any given weekend. We found that the football season's a good weekend because you got football going, volleyball, soccer. And so we've had a lot of our students take advantage of that and have gone to see what other schools are doing across the country. And I'm just throwing this out. If any of you ever wanted to come to Provo, to BYU for a weekend, we'd love to have you and host you, and just kind of show you what we do and how we do things here. But we found that it's a great way for our students to kind of build their network and to get to know a lot of people. And so, for example, we had a girl graduate in April. She was hired as one of the two people that the NCAA hired for their marketing and championships. So she's out in Indianapolis right now having an amazing experience. And so these are built on, again, them just kind of taking a little initiative kind of during their time in school and going out to see other venues and other institutions, because I think that's very valuable. Everybody has a different culture. Everybody has a different landscape. We're all marketing. But I think you can learn so much from different parts of the country and how people are doing things. And so, does anybody have any questions for me, or is there anything I can answer or help answer? Or
like you said, you worked at Duke, and so with it being like the prestige university everyone says it is, like how was it like working there, like with the athletics and how like big basketball has always been and things like that?
Yeah, so obviously being out there, part of the ACC, it's a very high-level basketball conference. The culture at Duke in that area is completely different from out here. I mean, those fans, basketball is a religion there, and the students were actually crazy. They camp out for the North Carolina game, and if the Carolina game's in March, they're camping out the first week of January for that game. So they're out there for 2.5 months, living in a tent, and that's just a sight to see. It's crazy. They added, when I was out there, they added light poles and Wi-Fi and TV hookups, and so basically you could actually live out there. And the tents that they could create, they were full on like living spaces. I mean, they brought in couches and TVs and coffee tables, and it's insane. But that's a tradition that they've done there since 1980, 1979. It's a tradition that they've kept going. So yeah, being there was a great experience for me. I got to meet a lot of people. So yeah, it was fun. It kind of kickstarted my career, I guess you can say. Any other question? Yes.
So, what would you say is the most difficult thing about your job? Like, what's the hardest thing that you think you have to do?
Gosh, I think there's a few different things that are difficult. I think first off, it's keeping a staff motivated when things aren't going great. We've had a very rocky football season. We lost to our rival to start the season. It's our 9th straight loss to them. And then we turned around and we beat Tennessee on the road, and then we beat USC at home. So we had a big downer to kick off the year, and then we were sky high for 2 weeks, and then we lost 3 straight games. And so keeping the staff motivated, because, you know, they're so invested into what they're doing. And when you lose, I mean, obviously the coaches and players are down, but the staff's down too. And so it's just trying to keep them motivated to continue doing what we're doing and to be great at what we're doing. I always try to remind them that, you know, it's when we're putting on an event, let's say a football game, it could be a fan's first time at your venue. And whether it's their, you know, 100th straight game or their first game, we need to always remember that. And that for the fan that comes for the first time, we want to make sure that they have a great experience. And so I think that's one of them, is just keeping your staff motivated when things aren't going great. I think the other challenge too is dealing with our fan base, because they're with you when you win, and they're kicking you when you're down. And it's just trying to remind our fans that, hey, these kids they're kids. I mean, they're 18, 19, 20 years old, and you know they're students. They have lives. Football is a big part of it, or whatever sport they're competing in. But that they also have a life. You know, they have families, and they have their own issues at home. You know, a lot of them are not living here. They're from all parts of the country. And so dealing with that, and just making sure our fans understand that, like, they're human. And they want to win more than anyone. And sometimes I think our fans forget that. You know, he didn't drop his pass on purpose. He didn't miss his block on purpose. And so they're fighting all week long. Again, this is all of our athletes. And so it's just making sure our fans understand that, hey, they're human. They're not perfect, and they're working their butts off. And so we did a video piece this year that we launched right before our home opener for football, where we actually involved a lot of our players' parents, and just kind of talking about, you know, hey, number one, he's my son. You know, number one, you know, the quarterback, he's my child. And we kind of just did a collaboration with a bunch of the parents, and it went really well. I think our fans really took to it. Again, just trying to show a human element to them, because they're human. And so, yeah, those are I think a few of the challenges that I think we face in this profession. So there's a lot of others, but, you know, I don't need to get to all the, you know, there's a lot of talk about, you know, right now it's Diversity and Inclusion Week that we're taking a part of, and that's been really exciting. Obviously, you guys are aware of the new law that California passed, and that's just going to be a whole new interesting thing looking into the future of what happens with that. So our athletic director was just at some meetings out in D.C. with about 130 ADs and conference commissioners, and it was interesting to hear his take on it, where from the NCAA side of it right now is they don't know what they're going to do. Obviously, there's a big gap of where our athletes and the state legislation wants to be, and how do we find a happy medium, and how do we come together to make sure that we don't lose sight of what collegiate athletics is. And so that'll be an interesting take to follow over the next 3 to 5 years. So, any other questions?
I have one. So I've always been interested in like sports or retail specifically for marketing, and like I've always wanted to take one of those routes, and I feel like finding experiences and stuff like that through retail is super easy, but if you're not directly involved in sports, it's a little bit harder. So what would your advice be for someone who's trying to find more experience in the sports marketing world?
I would, honestly, I would try to be involved in everything that you could be involved in while you're there. I don't know how you guys are broken down, if you're broken down by sports or if everybody's, you know, I'm not sure how you guys are set up. But what I tell our students is, hey, if you're a volunteer, I want to see you in the office as much as you can be. If you're not in class, if you're not studying, if you don't have another job, if you're in the office just learning, being a part of projects, helping create projects, marketing campaigns, whatever it is, get involved as many things as you can. I know that like we have a lot of different events that, you know, where teams are involved, or coaches. If it's not something that maybe marketing is directly involved in, see how you can be a part of that. And if you can't, just go to the event, just to listen, to learn, and again, to build relationships. I think as many events, projects, everything that you can be a part of that allows your time, I would say to do that, to invest your time into everything that you can. I think just when you throw yourself into it, you learn a lot more than just hoping something kind of falls in your lap. So take initiative. The ones that I've seen go on from here and be successful are the ones that were always here in the office. They were working all the events, and they were just constantly around building the relationships with everybody. And so that's what I've seen be successful for our students that have left and gone on. That answer your question?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, cool. Any other questions? Yes.
What's one way that you measure like fan experience? Do you use surveys, go by social engagement on social media, or a mixture of both?
Yeah, so we send out a survey after every football game and after every basketball game. We have a data analytics team that handles that. And then we also have a social media team that tracks the engagement. And so those are two avenues right now, or two platforms that we're using. The data side is something that we're working to get better at, because we all have 100 questions, and it's how do you compile those questions to find out the answers. And then, you know, it's all percentage based. And then a lot of it depends on, you know, did we win or did we lose? You know, what was weather like? And so we're actually the company that we use is a company here in Utah, and we're actually getting ready to meet with them to kind of talk about how we've done as far as the year so far. And they're going to give us an update on the different point systems that they've attached to all of our surveys. And so, yeah, through the surveys and through social engagement is how we get our information. So do you guys do data? Do you guys have a data team out there?
I asked that because we've tried to implement a survey platform, but in my opinion, I think it's too much, because we have to like personally go around and survey each other, and we're not getting everybody's like opinion. So I was just trying to like see if I could like find a easier way that we could like try to measure fan experience.
Yeah, I know that the company you work with, obviously you're not going to get the entire response, but you know, when you look at demographically and age and different things, you can kind of get a sense. One thing that we did before the season, so in our market in the state of Utah, there's 4 schools that compete at the Division I level. And like I said before, we've lost to our main rival, Utah, 9 straight games, and it's not good. But what we did is we actually did a survey, not with season ticket holders, not with fans who have purchased tickets to our games, but they did a survey for us where you take into account, hey, do they like BYU? And so this company goes and they find all these people within the state of Utah, and we're getting the results on this next week. It's kind of like a branding, kind of like when you hear the name BYU, what do you think about? When you hear BYU football, what do you think about? Like, what comes to your mind? And we're trying to see where we fall as far as statewide, where our brand is right now. Because before I got here, BYU kind of dominated the state of Utah. And when University of Utah went to the Pac-12, it kind of elevated their profile. And so over the last 9 to 10 years, there's been a big shift in fan base, dollars, and Utah right now is kicking our butt. And so we're trying to figure out how do we, obviously wins are important. We're trying to see what else is out there that we can do to help build this fan base. And there's a lot of Utah gear we're seeing that we didn't used to see. And so, so that's a lot of things that we're doing. It helps to have a team that kind of focuses on that. And so it's been good for us. Obviously, we'll get results next week from the survey that we did before the season started. But yeah. Any other questions or
I have-
thoughts, comments, or
I have a
how you guys
question.
been doing? How's your football team been doing?
We're doing all right. Yeah, we're 500 right now. Headed into a
Okay.
home game this weekend, so
I like your sign up there. It says rings, diplomas, and leaders. That's cool.
Yeah, that's our motto.
I like that.
Go ahead, Cindy.
Cameron, you have any questions?
I
We got
have
one
a
more.
question.
Yes.
So we wanted to, if we wanted to come down there and see how you guys run things for a weekend, would we just like book our hotel and flight and then just email you or whatever?
Yep, you can meet directly. You can have Cameron reach out. And then obviously, just if you can get yourself out here, we would take care of you with credentials. And obviously, we'd love to have you come and obviously shadow our team for the weekend.
Okay.
So if you look just at our schedule on a weekend where we have a few different things going on, absolutely, we'd love to host you.
Cool. Thank you.
Absolutely.
This is
I'm actually going to be in Atlanta in 4 weeks. We're coming out to a Falcons game because they've been killing it with their concession thing.
Oh yeah.
And so we're looking to see how we can implement that into our venue next year moving forward. But it's a massive overhaul, infrastructure. So we've been on a bunch of phone calls with them, and they've invited us to come out to a game. So we're going to take advantage of that. So can't wait.
This isn't like a sports marketing related question, but the view from your football stadium, I saw it on TV. Is it as like magnificent? Is it more magnificent in person than it is on TV? Like the mountains and everything?
Oh yeah, they're impressive. For people that come and play us that have never been to the West Coast or the West, they stand and gawk at those mountains all day. What's kind of crazy? Quick story. So we played at Tennessee this year, and there was a person in Tennessee who's a big ball fan, big Tennessee fan, and when we beat them, he had tweeted out and said, "Man, it was so impressive to see your fans." We had about 10,000 fans at Tennessee, and he was very impressed with our fans, very impressed with how we played, and he just kind of commented on Twitter, and he changed his Twitter handle to "I'm a Vol and Coug fan." And so one of our fans just kind of reached out and said, "Hey, have you ever been to Provo?" He said, "No, I've never been." He's like, "Hey, we'd love to have you come out for a game." And anyway, a GoFundMe was started for this kid. Well, come to find out, he's only 17 years old, and he's a graphic designer on the side. And so he started designing like different BYU uniforms and tweeting it out. So our fans kind of gravitated to this kid. When they found out he was 17, you can't fly someone because they're under 18 by himself. So basically, they had to fly his whole family out here to Utah. So they raised enough money. They flew him and his family out this past weekend for our Boise State game. And every tweet, like as he was driving from the airport down to Provo, he just kept talking about, "I can't believe those mountains. I can't believe those mountains." And I mean, he knows the Smokies that are in Tennessee, but he's like, "I can't believe these mountains." And he just kept saying that. And then we had him come on the field and run one of our team flags out with our football team. And he was just giddy on the field pregame. It was kind of cool to see someone from another place come and experience it like that. But he kept talking about how beautiful this is and how amazing the mountains were. So yeah, it is pretty. We actually took over we started a platform this year called the Best Backdrop, because when you play at BYU, we feel like we have one of the best backdrops in college athletics. And so we started branding that this year. It's kind of a new thing to talk about. So hope that answered your question.
It did.
How's Cameron doing?
How's what?
How's Cameron doing out there? Is he doing all right?
Fantastic. Awesome.
Yeah? What were you gonna say?
Oh yeah, I have another question. So me
Sure.
personally, I don't really want to stick in college athletics. I kind of
Okay.
want to see if I can maybe work my way up to maybe like an NFL or NBA type job. Do you have any
Sure.
advice for a way to try to navigate through college to a professional organization?
Absolutely. We have one of our students right now who's currently a student is interning for the Sacramento Kings this year. 2 years ago, he had an internship with the Charlotte Hornets. So he actually dropped out of school for a semester to take the Charlotte Hornets internship. And then this year, the Kings offered him an internship, and he's like, his school's getting pushed back. Worked with our counseling office on campus, and they said, hey, you can take online credits while you live in Sacramento. So he's kind of getting the best of both worlds. And what I tell our students that are looking to do that is work with your professional teams that are local right now. Just volunteer. If you're able to, I would ask them if there's any volunteer positions. One of my former assistants is working for the Utah Jazz. And so we have a lot of our students that go and do stuff for them, whether it's an event, job shadow, volunteer. And so if you're nearby any of the professional teams, I would reach out to them or have your boss reach out or someone that has a connection or an in to get your foot in the door there. Again, it's just anything that you can do. Working an event, working for a season, anything. Summertime, stuffing envelopes, whatever it is, just to get your foot in the door. That's what I would suggest you do if that's what you're looking at. And you guys are close to some of the best, pro sports teams around. So if you have that opportunity, I would say take it. And if it's your athletic director, I'm sure he has, touch points with those people. Have him reach out. Did that help answer your question?
Yeah, that was perfect. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. Anything else?
All right. Looks like you answered everyone's questions, and we're all gonna go be pros now.
Okay, but yeah, if any of you ever have an opportunity and want to come out, just shoot me an email. We'd love to have you for a weekend. But yeah, this is what we do. It's the best job in the country. It is the best thing that, I look at it like this. We get to put on an event for fans to come and be a part of, and they're going to walk away with the best experiences of their lives. And it's something that is always talked about, right? When you're at a restaurant, you're at home, everybody wants to talk about your school, your team, and what it is that you guys are doing. And it's awesome. It is, I think it's the best job in the country. I think it's the best profession that you can be a part of. No day is the same. Every day is a little different. You get to work with so many different groups of people, and that's what I love about it. This is a people business, and you get to work with so many different types of people and so many different types of groups and people that have different beliefs and whatever it is, but in the end, we come together, and it's sport, and sport is like the best. And you get the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, and in between. And so for those of you that want to be in it, stick with it because it'll pay off in the future. It's the absolute best, and I love it. So anyway, it's been great talking to you guys, and I hope that I just didn't ramble on, and hope you got something out of it. So
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
Thank you.
thanks, guys, and good luck to you all this year.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, David.